everyone. So my name is Ankit Khandelwal, and we're speaking to Dilrukshi Gamage from Sri Lanka so far. And then it's so inspiring to see she was able to not handle, sorry, able to finish 30 MOOCs despite her responsibilities as a housewife as well as a mother as an entrepreneur. So last time when we go off air, when she was able to take care of her child, we are asking more from her about. How to modify the peer assessments to make them more interactive, useful, as well as challenging. So, Dilrukshi, can you answer?
Yes. So far, the peer assessments, peers don't give a critic, or as I would say, more than 70% of the peer assessment that I've got are useless. It's not, we don't get a good assessment, or either just like, some fancy talks, I like your assignment is good, or as sometimes I would, there's no proper assessment that I could learn from anybody so far. But for HCI, yes, we got, particularly I got a few good critiques where I could learn from them, but 90%, 80%, 90% chance we don't get it. But in a way, that is again a requirement that I see. You tend to give a good evaluation if you know the person very well, or if you have a responsibility that you have to do. In this Nova8 platform earlier, not now, they have changed the platform a little bit, but earlier you could see the person who is evaluating you. For example, let's say if you are the Ankit that I'm evaluating, Ankit can see that Dilrukshi Gamage has given this evaluation. That itself tend to, because you can trace me back, I tend to give you a good feedback. So, and then again, we sort of engage in a relationship. Okay, Ankit, I got a really good, critique from you. So I could not understand what you mentioned here. Could you elaborate more? So that's, I can back and forth write to you, because I know you. But in this, what we have in present, it's really hard. We don't know. I mean, some people do not care to give a good feedback, or they don't have time. So it depends. So because your evaluation doesn't count as a, you were not given a heavy responsibility. It's just marking, just clicking, or just mentioning a mark. So that's all. I think that has, those are the areas that we really need to think of.
But but don't you think it's like they're making a common assessments to students coming from like more than 100 countries? That might be difficult in some courses.
Yes, that's yeah, of course, that's a good point. But for me, my personal opinion is, for example, let's say if you are to take a maths class and you are not familiar with the maths, and then of course the assessments should start from 0 level to a difficult level. I understand that. And also the pass rates also should be fair enough, so that everybody can make it to a certain level. But to the students who are really doing, there should be option that they could face much more difficult questions. For example, let's say if the system can understand my ability, let's say adaptive learning we call it, that
yeah, please continue.
Yeah, that option could be a really good advantage for high capable students, that they don't feel boring to just answer this simple questions.
Yeah, I felt I've been in many MOOCs, especially the humanities courses, where we did peer assessments, and it was sometimes felt that it was not useful. And I give some couple of suggestions, especially like you said, to make the matching interest. And because so far the peer assessments are anonymous, you don't see, and this matching is completely random. So if I'm doing a course in China, if someone has a very high knowledge of China and I'm amateur, then it will completely change because I'm amateur. He's professional. He's very much experts. It will just jeopardize the kind of entire process. But thank you very much for your this review, and I have seen you are involved in some of couple of projects using your MOOCs and helping others. Can you elaborate what are those projects and how you are helping to make learning much better for others?
Those projects are more or less started from MOOC itself. For example, the Entrepreneurship 101 has, first of all, they have given the link from this Course Love platform where we can apply our skills. I mean, if we learn some, let's say, market analysis skills, we could apply. There are lots of needs projects on those platforms where we can participate as for us to gain the knowledge. So I actually I really want to have useful knowledge where, I mean, if you have the knowledge, if you don't have any place to apply it, I see that there's a huge gap. So that gap should be addressed by having to experience more projects. One very good example is the Course Love platform, where they offer so many opportunities to do projects on the subject area that you are expert of. So other than that, I seek projects because having a course is like you're reading a book. It could fade away soon, but if you apply in a real-term project, that itself, will go through your blood, and you don't feel like you lost the knowledge. So I try to make my learning much more useful by applying with projects. That has been the secret for me to keep my update knowledge.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a very wonderful perspectives. I think you couldn't get my questions completely. Can you tell more about the projects you are doing? Not I've seen some of the projects you are part of related to MOOCs. Like I think
Okay.
Teach to Learn, MIT team, I believe that's if I'm right.
Yes, that of course, Jerry. I normally visit the websites of the projects. So once when I was searching for projects, I found this MIT Global Challenge from the university. MIT, they have projects where they seek other graduate students or undergraduate students help in those projects. So once, because I'm interested in the learning sides, education side, when I was searching, this Teach to Learn project appears, and they were seeking advices or this collaborative perspectives from the other side of the world. So I wrote to the project owner, who's MIT Sloan MBA graduate, 2014. At that time, he was studying. I think he's in his second year. So I wrote to him, and then he wrote me back, and we exchanged a couple of ideas, and it was a total match. We could work, and then since then he was developing a system where his motto was like, if you teach somebody, that itself makes learning much more effective. So he brought up a platform that effectively transfer the teaching and the learning. So I came into the picture, and also we took that into a MOOC level, and then sort of like identifying students' requirement. How would they feel if they teach, and does that make them to learn much more better? So yeah, in a various perspective, I help them to bring up that platform. At this stage, Jerry is working in another company, so he's taking a small break, and because the project needs financial monetary values as well, so his time now the project in the phase that we have frozen a little bit, because once he gains some monetary values, then again we are planning to start. And,
okay.
And
please
the latest
continue.
project is the Stanford crowdsourcing project, where the Stanford University, the HCI group has published that they are looking for collaborative researchers to do a next generation platform, which is which is my current research, where Professor Michael Burstein from HCI group, and then his PhD student, and 500 researchers around the world, we gather every weekend and talk in another platform called Slack, and we communicate, and the system will go live in another 2-3 months time, and we are focusing on few conferences these days.
Wow, that's very interesting things you are doing. I also was part of MIT Ideas Challenge. I also try to help couple of people when I was when I was doing masters, and also aware of this. But it's really good that you are trying to do things, and you have shared with us a lot of things, and it comes to very basic questions: how MOOCs have improved you, or how has improved the life around you, or everything you feel. That's what I want to know.
I think MOOC made me a completely different person, where I have something to talk with any audience. I mean, I see myself uh, from every angle. If I talk to a particular local, I have more things to talk and share with them from the international perspective. Just because we had a chance to talk to much more variety of people, that itself brought us a place that we tend to see where do we stand, and then when we see the diverse people, where do they stand, it's like, we can reach that level. If we see the same sort of people every day, we don't feel like developing ourselves. So I think MOOCs brought myself into a different perspective, just because the association of the diverse culture.
Oh, very wonderful. I felt the same, and it's really enjoyable to speak to people like you. So, if I need to ask very basic questions, if you have to give advice to a prospective MOOC learner or person who just aware of MOOCs, what advice you will give? How to get best of MOOCs, and what kind of flexibility he can think of, and what kind of discipline or self learning or self passion he has to bring on.
For me, to keep up the MOOCs, I always tend to find somebody who I can interact with. So that makes me keeps alive. I always try to, participate in forums, particularly because that makes me, give a live feeling. This is not just a computer program that I'm used to. I need much more social aspects of learning. I need much more networking capabilities, like just like I know yourself a lot because I've read a lot. So I tend to have a relationship. So that relationship will keep me, finishing the MOOC. So far, yes, I have tried for example, the education development MIT course and the game development course. I think I met few couple of friends where we, I mean, we talk to each other. How did you do this assignment and how did you do this? So that itself make me motivate to complete the course. So that the courses that I don't find much more people, I tend to drop out. That has been enough for me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. And before we say you goodbye and leave you for to go and enjoy with the daughter, one last questions. Is there anything you want to share with us? Something I forgot to ask, or something you forgot to mention now? Anything about with us?
Mm, yeah, so far I think the as countries, I'm sure America or the West is well recognized with the MOOCs. If they have participated MOOCs, but in the Eastern level, we are still catching up. People don't understand the, like, if you have been taken MOOCs, okay, it's like, what, so what, like, they don't understand the credentials, the self discipline of studying by yourself has not been recognized yet. So I think it's too early for the East, but I think people should think of collaborating with each other and start doing much more diverse learning, and East should catch up with the West soon so that they also can come up overcome the difficulties in their countries.
Exactly. I believe as MOOCs will catch up in our countries, both India and Sri Lanka, and more people will recognize the value of self-learning, and the world will become a much more better place in terms of educations. So with that, thank you, Gilrukshi, for your time, and despite all your busy schedule and the technical disruptions we have encountered, and I hope you will gain more success and will keep inspiring us, especially despite handling so many responsibilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you.